Yesterday, several images and basically most of the specs of the upcoming GoPro Hero 10 were leaked. As you will see in a moment, a lot has come just as we expected. But there are also some very interesting surprises. We will look at the images together in this video and I will explain what major new features the GoPro Hero 10 has. The images come from Roland Quandt and WinFuture, who are considered a reliable source. And just for comparison, last year around the same time and also by leaker Roland Quandt, images of the GoPro Hero 9 were leaked. The Hero 9 was then launched in mid-September. We can therefore assume a similar launch time for the Hero 10. First, let's take a careful look at the few images of the Hero 10's body and consider what these images tell us. The body looks almost identical to the body of the Hero 9. The only thing that stands out here is that the lettering is now blue, probably also to differentiate the Hero 10 from the Hero 9. Last year, the body was somewhat redesigned with the Hero 9. The GoPro unfortunately also became a bit bigger. In any case, it was not expected that there would be decisive innovations to the body again this year. The Hero 10 will therefore unfortunately not be smaller than the Hero 9. Everything looks identical, the front display, the LED and also the lens. Fortunately, the lens cover will still be removable. Also the mode button on the side, the new mic cover introduced last year, everything looks the same as on the Hero 9. And if we look at the back, unfortunately also the back LCD screen. I have to say that I am a bit disappointed, because I would have liked to see these black bezels disappear and the display get a bit bigger. Let's hope that the quality of the touch display has improved compared to the Hero 9. The touch display of the Hero 9 was not very responsive. This has been improved with the latest firmware updates, but it's still not perfect. In summary, the GoPro Hero 10 looks completely identical to the GoPro Hero 9, except for the blue logo. Now let's take a look at the specs, as luckily several images of the packaging have been leaked as well. A look at the front of the packaging immediately leads to a very big surprise. The Hero 10 has a new sensor, namely a sensor that allows you to take photos with 23 megapixels. This is surprising because a new sensor was only introduced last year. With the old sensor, you could take photos with 20 megapixels. It is hard to tell if the new sensor actually has 23 megapixels. Due to software stabilization, GoPro seems to use sensors with a higher resolution. The innovation is in any case very interesting, because the resolution is only slightly increased. The new sensor must therefore have other advantages as well. Exactly what these are will only be revealed by detailed tests of the image quality. And if you are interested in a detailed test of the image quality of the Hero 10, by the way, do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Let's hope for an improvement in low light, which however is rather unlikely with an increase of the megapixels. But who knows? The new sensor now allows you to shoot at a slightly higher resolution of 5.3K. The Hero 9 was capable of shooting in 5K. And there is another very important new feature right here. The Hero 10 will be able to shoot in 5.3K at 60 frames per second. The Hero 9 was only capable of shooting with 30 frames per second in 5K. For 60 FPS, you had to reduce the resolution to 4K. Now, you would think that that wouldn't make much of a difference. But the fact is that the Hero 9 clearly produced a better image quality in 5K than it did in 4K. For this reason, I think this improvement is very important. Now, it will be possible to produce slow motion footage in the incredible resolution of 5K. And just below, we see the next important innovation, 4K with 120 frames per second. It will now be possible to capture a 4x slow motion shot in 4K. This is a feature I've been wanting from GoPro for a long time, and I was sure it would come this year. After all, full-frame cameras are already capable of this. A slow motion of 25% is perfectly sufficient for most cases to get spectacular shots. So you won't have to go without 4K for spectacular slow motion shots anymore. This is great news. It will also be possible to shoot in 2.7K at 240 frames per second. I actually didn't expect such an improvement. So far, this was only possible in 1080, and the footage shot in 1080 and 240 frames per second had a rather poor image quality. 8x slow motion shots will now be possible in a much better image quality. This is also great news. All those who are now disappointed that there is no 8K. A resolution of 8K would have needed a sensor with significantly more megapixels. With this sensor size, this would have led to clear disadvantages in low light. The new resolution and especially the new frame rates obviously require a much faster processor. GoPro is therefore finally introducing a new processor again after several years, the so-called GP2. The GP1 image processor was already several years old, and if I remember correctly, it was introduced with the Hero 6. I'm curious to see what impact the new processor will have on the battery life. Let's hope it's a very efficient processor. Here at the top there is another thing that stands out. The new GoPro now supports Hypersmooth 4, which is a new and improved version of the Hypersmooth stabilization. I'm very curious to see which improvements GoPro has been able to make to the already excellent Hypersmooth stabilization. Again, only extensive testing will tell. A shot of the left side of the packaging shows us the rest of the specs. Apart from the usual features, it is noticeable that the Timewarp mode has obviously not changed. The GoPro Hero 10 features Timewarp 3 just like the GoPro Hero 9. Live streaming will also still only be possible in 1080p. A look at the right side of the packaging reveals that the GoPro Hero 10 will contain identically the same accessories as the Hero 9. The case will also continue to be included, which can be seen well in the image itself. Overall, I am quite satisfied with the innovations. I'm very curious to see how the Hero 10 will perform in practice. Are you looking forward to the GoPro Hero 10 or are you rather disappointed? Write me in the comments and give me a like as feedback if the video was interesting for you. And stay tuned for tests and tutorials on the GoPro Hero 10.